Srinivasan, while we've had Arun Jaitley clearly say this is a commercial transaction and approved based on approved loans, but when we just look at the number of shares and what it amounts to, there's clearly a lot of explanation that needs to be done.
Absolutely. I think this has now become the main point on which the Congress has taken on the BJP today, saying that it's not proper for the finance minister to simply dismiss this as routine transactions because there's something clearly highly unusual about them. And if you actually look at past precedents of instances where in many of the big scams that the Congress has been put on the back foot over by the BJP, it's precisely these kinds of transactions which have been used. And the most striking example of that, of course, is the coal scam, in which the CBI itself has found that the payoffs that were allegedly made by Naveen Jindal, whose company received a very large number of coal blocks, to Dasani Narayan Rao, who was the Minister of State for Coal at that time, was actually done by using precisely the purchase of premium shares in a company of Dasani Narayan Rao. The CBI had alleged that Mr. Jindal's companies bought these shares in Dasani Narayan Rao's companies at almost 3 times the market rate. Now, in this case, in the case of the shares that were purchased by Lalit Modi's company in Dushyant Singh's companies, they were purchased at almost 9,000 times the value of those shares. So clearly, these are enough to set off alarm bells. It also must be pointed out that it's deeply ironic that the BJP is dismissing these transactions as routine, given that in 2012 the previous government had brought an amendment which taxed such transactions to discourage the illicit flow of funds, to discourage black money from coming into the system. And in fact, that amendment is in force today to check this. So for a party that has taken a position against black money to dismiss this as routine is surprising. The other discrepancy which we have come across, which also is worth pointing out, is that while so far the talk has only been of the transaction, or the sale rather, or the purchase by Lalit Modi of close to around 800 odd shares, it appears that there were actually close to perhaps as many as 950 shares which were sold to Lalit Modi by Dushyant Singh's company. And the discrepancy is there in the official documents itself. On the one hand, we have here the balance sheets of Ananda Heritage Hotel Limited, which says that 965 shares were purchased by them in the year 2009-2010. But if you look at the documents submitted to the Registrar of Companies by Niyant Heritage Limited, which is Dushyant Singh's companies, we find Dushyant Raje's companies, we find that the amount comes to what has been reported so far, which is about 800 shares, 395 plus 420. So this is again a discrepancy which the BJP is yet to explain, but it indicates that there are many aspects of this particular investment which remains to be probed. Let's go across and get you some political reactions on this breaking story on the day when the Congress has in fact said that the finance minister calling these transactions as routine is actually influencing the enforcement directorate's probe into it. GVL Narasimha Rao of the BJP joins me. Mr. Rao, first to you on this point about double standards, that when it came to the scams which you alleged the UPA had carried out, these type of transactions, the sale of premium shares was used as a device. At that time you cried foul. How are you now describing it as routine?
But Srinivasan, I don't see any parallel between a coal scam and these transactions. How on earth can anyone compare them?
Because the modus operandi is exactly the same. The modus operandi is the purchase of shares at a premium by a businessman in a politician's company. That's exactly what's happened here.
No, in coal scam, the entire process of allotment of coal blocks itself was full of loopholes. I think the entire allocation of the coal blocks itself was done due to corrupt consideration.
That is true, but the corrupt consideration was paid in a number of ways. One of the ways it was paid by, as the CBI has established in the case of Naveen Jindal and Dasani Narayan Rao, allegedly established, I must clarify, was through, as I just explained, the purchase of premium shares. And in this case, in the case of Jindal, Dasani Narayan Rao, it was only 3 times over evaluation. Here, the shares have been purchased, Mr. Narasimha Rao, as you know, 10 rupee shares for almost 1 lakh each.
Yeah.
Surely these are transactions which are enough to set off alarm bells by a party that is committed to cracking down on black money.
Fine, but then there was in coal scam,
Yes.
Ratan Narayan Rao's company was the Jindals or whoever invested in that company was directly linked to a particular a coal block allocation.
Yes.
And even the time, if you look at the sequence of events, the investments were made exactly around the time the coal block allocations were made.
Yes.
Therefore, establishing a quid pro quo was very easy. But our objection to the entire coal scam was about giving away precious coal blocks.
Sir, I'm not particularly on the nature of the scam. I am on the manner in which payoffs and kickbacks are made, and I'm still not getting a clear distinguishing factor from you on this question of the sale of premium shares. As I just explained, an amendment was brought to the tax laws precisely because this method was being used to pay kickbacks to politicians or decision makers. And how is this different? How is this transaction between Lalit Modi and Dushyant Raje any different?
Yeah, I'll answer that. Look at the chronology of these transactions. These investments happened in 2008 and 2009.
Yes.
In calendar year 2008 and 9. So
Yes.
this is much before the time when changes have been brought about in terms of guidelines, etc. Number one. Number two, at the time of investment, Lalit Modi was not an accused. Until 2010, he continued to be the IPL commissioner, and he was a high-flying businessman.
He may not have been an accused, but certainly there were allegations that favors were done to him, that rules were changed to ensure that he became the head of the Rajasthan Cricket Association. You're aware of this. So this is when you talk of quid pro quo, I mean, some would argue that this is a direct example exactly of quid pro quo.
I completely disagree unless you can specifically mention a particular transaction or any number of transactions. This is simply imaginary. Your insinuations are purely insinuations and imaginary.
Okay,
So,
I just
I'm
gave you an
Lalit Modi.
example of a particular transaction. Let me bring Ajay Kumar, Congress spokesperson, into the debate. Ajay Kumar, the BJP continues to maintain that these are routine transactions, but as we said, there are past precedents which have involved the Congress as well. Is this double standards by the BJP?
Yeah, I mean, Srinivas, it is obviously double standard. And what is interesting, like the additional Solicitor General in January of 2015 had mentioned that this is being investigated, this transaction is being investigated. It is, the Enforcement Directorate will look into it, and it was tied up to the SIT investigation on black money.
Yes.
And now the finance minister, who is also the boss of Enforcement Directorate,
Yes.
goes and makes such a casual statement. So his department gives an assurance to the Honorable High Court, a division bench in Delhi.
Yes. Yes.
And then he gives a statement in the United States saying that this is a check transaction, and I'm amazed, I mean, with the finance minister's brazenness and the brazenness
Okay, let
of
Mr. Narasimha Rao respond to that.
Party.
Mr. Narasimha
This is a
Rao,
round tripping. I mean, this is obviously 9,006, and my colleague
96
from the other
96,000.
side, Mr. Rao has said, Srinivas, I just want to point out, there were two Havelis given to Mr. Lalit Modi, which was again acquired back 2008, 2009.
Before we go into the nitty-gritties of the Havelis, let GVL Narasimha Rao respond to the wider point that was the finance minister justified, Mr. Rao, in just dismissing these as routine commercial transactions while the matter is still being probed? Isn't that prejudicing the investigation?
Absolutely no. Who was being investigated? It was Lalit Modi who was under the scanner of the Enforcement Directorate, and his investments or his earnings, his bank balances can be continuously inquired into.
No, but the additional Solicitor General has told the court that they're also investigating the investment, Lalit Modi's company's investment into this Niyant Heritage, into Dushyant Raje's company.
Please allow me to complete, Srinivasan. It is not the duty of the recipient. In any investment, when you invest in a company, be it Hindustan Lever or be it ABC company, the company is not going to ask you about the source of your funds. As far as you are investing through legitimate means, and these are wide investments that you are making.
How do you know?
It's not the duty of the recipient to find out whether you have earned this money through right means or wrong means. Look at all the public
Mr. Narasimha Rao, that is an extraordinary thing you said. You mean to say that a transaction between a Lalit Modi and a company owned by the Chief Minister's son, the Chief Minister's son has no business asking where this money has come from or what this money is in exchange for?
No,
what is the basis on which this valuation has been done?
The transaction, Srinivasan, please don't twist the argument. I'm saying you are offering shares to somebody in your company, in lieu of which you are charging a particular premium on your shares.
Yes.
And if somebody is willing to buy that, and if that somebody who is buying into your shares is not a shady individual, you can go and sell, even a private limited company can sell.
But it still doesn't answer the question, why would someone pay 1 lakh rupees for a 10 rupee share? Isn't that the question here? Isn't that the question which you are not able to answer?
No, there is a clear-cut answer. The media is simply not interested in looking at the real facts.
What is the fact?
This company has in its possession 3 major properties. And one of them is the Dholpur Palace. Second is the Delhi property. The third, properties don't they value nothing.
Mr. Rao, can I point out to you, can I please correct you there? At the time when the investments were made, we have looked at the balance sheets of this company. The Dholpur property was not on this company's books. The Dholpur property is not on this company's books. These investments were made prior to this company having any significant fixed assets. Up till 2009, this company only had about 5 crores of properties on its assets. And by the way, may I add that there are no details given of those properties. One is simply shown as property Delhi, another property Lucknow. Now, on the basis of that, if you're buying shares of 10 rupees at 1 lakh rupees, clearly that is enough to set off alarm bells, is it not? Or is the BJP doing such a huge U-turn on its principal stand against black money and illicit flows that you're willing to justify this?
Srinivasan, these transactions are on the paper. I think these are completely legal, legitimate. They have been scrutinized during the UPA tenure by the Income Tax Department. All the taxes and all the compliances, all the rules have been complied with.
Yes.
And there is, for the party, based on the evidence available before it,
yes,
there is nothing to suggest there is anything wrong with the transactions per se, because it would not be possible. Please understand, it would not be. Finance Minister could have made this statement within an hour after this news broke out. He had waited for 3-4 long days. Why did he wait? He wanted to check all the facts before he makes even a comment.
So the Finance Minister has checked the facts?
Yes, absolutely. He had checked all the facts. Even the party took nearly 36 hours to make a formal response because we wanted to be armed with all the facts and we wanted to find that these facts are.
So you're saying, I want to get Ajay Kumar to respond to this. So you're saying this is significant. The Finance Minister has checked all the facts in this transaction, Ajay Kumar, and has found the sale of 10 rupee shares at 1 lakh rupees absolutely fine.
So this is the biggest blow to the Jumla of the Bharatiya Janata Party on its fight for getting black money. If the Finance Minister in January says to the Honorable Division Court that this is under investigation, there is no report of this investigation, and he seems to have done a investigation in 3 days, which is one of the finest investigation in the world. I really admire the Bharatiya Janata Party because enforcement takes months.
Okay, we'll have to wrap it there.
The Finance Minister of India takes 3 days, despite his busy schedule, to come with a response and clean check. So this is fantastic. But the other part is, Srinivas, they will give a run to all the entrepreneurs like the Flipkart and everything else. I mean, they just need to invest in Dushyant Singh's companies because, wow, even the Flipkart and all the successful entrepreneurs of India have not a patch over 9,600%. I mean, we never knew we had such fantastic value creators in the Bharatiya Janata Party. And secondly, like you correctly said, normally any share purchase has got an independent party to do valuation. Where is the valuation report by any legitimate...
All right, but that's a significant news point from JVL Narasimha Rao that the Finance Minister's statement was made after he personally checked the facts about this transaction and he has given it a clean chit. Thank you both so much for joining us.